Starting off our list at number 10 is Roseanne Barr. The actress and comedian is known for her work, but also known for being a supporter of Donald Trump being president. Other Trump fans will back her up, but she has been one of Hollywood's most controversial figures who went one step too far back in May 2018 when she sent out some racist tweets. Her tweets were about Valerie Jarrett, a senior advisor to the former president Barack Obama. In her tweet, she compared Valerie to a cross between the Muslim Brotherhood and the movie Planet of the Apes. After seeing the backlash she received for the racist tweet, it was immediately deleted and she issued an apology. However, it was already way too late for that, and she was just trying to save her career. ABC cancelled her show called Roseanne, which was supposed to reboot the same day. ABC's president called Roseanne's tweets, and I quote, abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values. Since then, as of January of this year, 2019, her Twitter was off limits and she moved into her mother's basement in order to get out of LA. She said she has a fear that everyone hates her and she blames ABC for ruining her life rather than having her back. Apparently her tweet was just a joke. She's a comedian, but Hollywood's Blacklist isn't seeing it the same way. At number 9 is Martin Lawrence. The comedian hasn't been completely blacklisted from all of Hollywood, but he has been banned from one of the most popular comedy shows on television, SNL. You can imagine what kind of damage that would do to a comedian's career, and you can also imagine what he had to have done to be completely banned from the show. Apparently, back in 1994 when he hosted SNL, he decided to go a little bit off topic in his opening monologue. We don't know what he originally had planned, but we are all still hoping it wasn't what actually came out of his mouth. In his monologue, he went on a rant making disgusting remarks about the importance of female hygiene. I can't go into too much detail with this one, but let's just say he went as far as bringing up the term douching. His hosting gig was so brutal that the comedian was banned for life, and he still remains at the top of their blacklist. Swiping the number 8 spot on our list is Katherine Heigl. It's been 11 years since the actress's career crumbled, or as she described it, her career betrayed her. In 2008, her career was at its peak, starring in rom-coms like 27 Dresses, which proved she was a very bankable movie star. But at the time, she was also making headlines for her work on the hit TV series Grey's Anatomy, where she took on the role of Dr. Stevens for 5 years. She was described in the media as being difficult because she made statements saying she was withdrawing herself from the 2008 Emmy Awards since she didn't consider the show worthy. In her statement, she said that the Grey's Anatomy material that Shonda Rhimes had given her wasn't enough, I quote, to warrant an Emmy nomination. She got a lot of backlash for her comments and found herself on the blacklist. She stopped booking major roles for years to come, but luckily has found herself as a working actress again, even if they aren't like the big movies that she was once making. Many companies in the industry will no longer work with her, and she tried to defend herself almost a decade later. Back in 2016, she went on the Howard Stern show to discuss what actually happened and explained that she didn't feel good about her own performance and didn't mean for it to come out as an attack on the show. Reports were made that she wanted out of the contract on multiple occasions, and she ended up leaving the show in 2010 due to her feelings being hurt. Taking over our number 7 spot is Kirk Cameron. The actor got introduced into Hollywood at a very young age. He was known to be a child star, appearing in many different TV shows and films at the time. He is mostly known for his role in the sitcom Growing Pains, which he starred in for 7 seasons, but also starred in movies like Listen to Me and Like Father Like Son. However, his personal life began to affect his career because of his religious Christian views. He speaks all day long about his beliefs towards religion, homosexuals, culture, and more, which has landed him on Hollywood's blacklist. His religious views erupted everywhere from Twitter to his CNN interview with Piers Morgan, where he spoke about homosexuality, saying that it was unnatural and destructive. His comments have kept him from Prime TV, and his personal documentary called Unstoppable was banned from both Facebook and YouTube, and we haven't seen him in anything for years. And at number 6 is Monique. The actress and comedian first gained popularity for her stand-up shows and for playing Nikki Parker in the UPN series The Parkers, which ran from 1999 to 2004. However, her biggest break came in 2009 when she played the abusive mother in Lee Daniels' film Precious. She earned tons of critical praise and even an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. After her big win, her resume has slumped, and she says it is because of how she handled the 2010 Oscar campaign for the movie Precious. She said that the director called her saying that Hollywood blackballed her because she didn't play the game. He confirmed this in an interview by saying, I quote, "Her demands through Precious were not always in line with the campaign. This soured her relationship with the Hollywood community." The actress said she was blacklisted by powerful people because she didn't want to campaign for the movie without receiving additional pay. Fast forward to 2018 2018, Monique stirred the pot by urging her fans to boycott Netflix for gender and racial bias, saying that they offered her a low-balling $500,000 for a comedy special, which is significantly less than the millions that Amy Schumer and other male comedians made, such as Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle. Honestly, at this point, we're all kind of just waiting to see whose list she ends up on next. Halfway through at number 5 is Natalie Maines, also known as one-third of the Dixie Chicks band. The musician took her political views a bit too far when she decided to bash the President of the United States at the time, President Bush. While performing a concert in London, she went on a rant about his plans for the war in Iraq, which caused an outburst of rage and a ton of backlash on her career. Following her concert rant, country stations across the US decided to pull their songs from their playlist after calls from listeners came in and said that their political views weren't patriotic. Not only did they pull songs, but they also banned future songs from playing on their stations. Other country artists even got involved, like Reba McEntire and Toby Keith, who spoke out against the band. Keith and Natalie actually publicly bashed each other and their music to the media. This completely ended their careers, and they began to receive death threats and other threats of physical harm. In 2016, Natalie admits that them making a return to mainstream country music is highly unlikely. She said, I quote, "I feel like we are all tainted. I don't know if we put a tour up if people would come. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like all that backlash was just a little unnecessary. I mean, everyone has their opinions about the president no matter who it is." Here we are at number 4 with Brendan Fraser. He is best known for his roles in Bedazzled and The Mummy. He was once a very popular actor that many fans adored, but during the 2000s his career started to fade out and a lot of people were wondering why. Just last year, Brendan opened up to GQ for an exclusive interview talking about what has happened over all of his absent years. He opened up about depression after his mother's death, which led to an unhealthy lifestyle and weight gain. It wasn't until this interview that he opened up about a sexual assault incident he faced with the former HFPA president Philip Burke back in 2003. He said he held it in for all of these years but felt inspired by the current Me Too movement that is going on right now. Brendan said that the HFPA has never invited him back to the Golden Globes ever since the incident surfaced. He also says no major productions are willing to hire him either. He has no problem admitting that he has found himself blacklisted in Hollywood, but also wants to voice that the reasoning is incredibly wrong and unfair. He is still booking whatever roles he can, like some episodes on the TV series The Professionals and Doom Patrol. Alright guys, at number 3 is Stacy Dash. The actress and talk show host rose to fame after her role in Clueless and on the Fox News show Outnumbered. Nowadays she is mostly known for her very controversial views. Go figure. Back in 2008, the actress openly voted for Barack Obama for president, but then somehow made a big shift in her views between 2008 to 2012. Which is fine, everyone has the right to their political views, but she just went a little too far when she started calling for an end to Black History Month. In her statement to get rid of Black History Month, she explained why, saying, and I quote, "We're Americans, period. That's it." People were completely outraged, mainly because this comment was followed by many other outrageous and offensive comments from the actress, like speaking on the topic of transgendered people. She ended up getting fired from Fox News and since then has not been able to book any big roles because she just can't seem to keep her opinions to herself. At number 2 is Isaiah Washington, the actor who is known for his role on the famous TV show Grey's Anatomy. He found himself on Hollywood's Blacklist after he made some homophobic comments at the 2007 Golden Globe Awards. This is what made his career come crashing down because he was already on thin ice for insulting his co-star TR Knight with homophobic language just a year earlier. Clearly a lesson not learned. After the incident at the Golden Globes, he was put in executive counseling, but not too long into it, Grey's Anatomy decided that he was going to be fired and his contract would not be renewed. After being fired, the actor was asked about it and his response was, I quote, "After the incident at the Golden Globes, everything just fell apart. I lost everything. I couldn't afford to have an agent, I couldn't afford to have a publicist, I couldn't afford to continue." The former television star has found a way to continue on by starring in B-list movies and any projects that he can still get his hands on. Taking the number 1 spot on our list is Mel Gibson, because how could he not be? There was a time when Mel Gibson's career was in its prime when he starred in the Lethal Weapon franchise and Braveheart, but it seems like his time in big movies like those have come to an end. He is a solid example that one wrong move can take a person down, although he has had a few wrong moves. They all started back in 2006 when Gibson was arrested for a DUI in Malibu, California. The actor at the time said, I quote, "I was loaded and angry and arrested. I guess I'm not allowed to have a nervous breakdown ever." Oh come on Mel, that's not true. We let you have another one in 2010. Who could forget his horrific fall from grace in 2010 when a series of taped phone conversations between him and his then girlfriend were released. You could hear the actor verbally attacking her with profanity, threats, and racial slurs. For example, he called her an effing pig in heat and told her that he hopes she gets raped. When doing interviews about the phone meltdown, he had no problem continuing to offend people based on race, sexual orientation, gender, and immigration status. Hollywood began to lose respect for the actor, and so did his fans. He has continued to book some smaller films, and he even finances and produces his own movies, but it's been a long time since we've seen him star in a big Hollywood hit. Don't get me wrong, he's probably incredibly well off at this point, but it would have been nice to end things with Hollywood on better terms. Starting off our list at number 10 is Rob Schneider. The hilarious actor is well known for his work in mostly comedy films. At one point in time, he was taking on big roles starring in multiple movies next to other big stars like Adam Sandler. In the 1990s and early 2000s, he was basically everywhere in the industry. But nowadays, you don't really see much of him. A lot of people have said that his time just has simply passed. Some even say that the actor was always playing the same comedic role each time, and let's face it, casting directors are probably looking for something fresh and new at this point. It doesn't help that some of his movies received really bad reviews, and he was even sued for one of them. Back in 2010, investors sued him for his straight-to-DVD movie called The Chosen One because they wanted to recoup their investment since the movie didn't do so well. That doesn't really paint a pretty picture for other casting directors wanting to really work with him. It's been a few years since we even saw him on a screen as Rob in the TV series Real Rob. Now his movies are mainly found in the Walmart discount movie bins, but hey, some of them are still funny and I am all about a cheap deal. So who's the real winner here? At number 9 is Carmen Electra. At age 47, she still remains as one of the world's biggest sex symbols, claiming the title through her work in the iconic Baywatch series and Playboy. Throughout her career, she has done it all. She has a successful acting resume, a modeling portfolio, and also a music career. But over the last handful of years, her career just kinda seemed to fizzle out. After her split with Simon Cowell in 2013, she turned away from films and focused on her musical dreams. Unfortunately, that really didn't take off the way that she had hoped. We haven't seen much of her lately. She's no longer acting on our big screens or landing her songs on the Billboard charts. She did find herself in the spotlight back in January of this year, 2019, but it wasn't for anything that would benefit her career in any way. Turns out she's actually involved in a scandal and is trying to sue 5 Las Vegas strip clubs for using her photos as advertisement without permission or payment. With that being the only type of attention she is getting from the media, her career seems to have come to a dead end. Sliding into the number 8 spot is Dane Cook. He first made a name for himself through his stand-up comedy, but like most comedians, over time he started to get into acting. He made his first on-screen appearance in the movie Employee of the Month, where he starred alongside blonde bombshell Jessica Simpson. Unfortunately, his first major role was a complete flop, and the movie received 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. He tried to redeem himself when he took on a major role in the movie Good Luck Chuck. The movie also received terrible reviews and got just 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, so even worse than the first one. People were starting to think he should pass on the whole acting thing and just stick to his stand-up comedy. Not only were his movies a flop, but his comedy career also took a hit after he made an inappropriate joke back in 2012 about a mass shooting. He made a joke referencing the shooting that happened in Colorado during the screening of The Dark Knight Rises. The actor later apologized for his jokes, but some people weren't so forgiving on such a sensitive and serious topic. His personal life has also landed him being caught up in another controversy by dating a girl who is only 19 years old. They began dating when she was just 18 years old and he was 45 at the time, and the two of them have continued dating for over a year now. People have had no problem voicing their opinion on the 26-year age gap. Dane is trying to make a comeback through comedy though by doing a comedy tour this year. He admits that he will be sticking to comedy and that acting is in his past. So I guess let's see if he can still make people laugh. Next up at number 7 is Abby Lee Miller. You will know her as the very strict dance teacher on the hit TV series Dance Moms. She built her own dance studio in Pittsburgh and created a reality-type TV show called Dance Moms, which has now turned into a world sensation. Pretty impressive, we gotta admit. The show blew up and then expanded into Los Angeles, where they continued filming at a new studio there. One of the world's biggest dancers, Maddie Ziegler, was one of Abby's dancers on the show since she was a toddler. So basically she can give all of her dancing skills to Abby. However, out of nowhere, while they were filming the show, we started to see that Abby was in some kind of trouble with the law. law. Turns out the news headlines weren't just rumors, and Abby was actually arrested for fraud. She was caught hiding $775 worth of money that was income from the show when claiming her taxes. She was sentenced to 1 year in prison, which she was able to get down to just 8 months. After she completed her sentence, she was given 2 years probation and can only live in certain areas approved by her probation officer. Sadly, once out of jail, she was diagnosed with cancer in April 2018 and has faced 10 rounds of chemo and 2 major spine surgeries. Abby is currently in a wheelchair and is learning how to walk all over again. The good news is though, even if Hollywood won't hire her, she can still be her own boss. A brand new season of her reality show Dance Moms is out right now, and her true fans are thrilled about it still. At number 6 is Macaulay Culkin. If you're a Home Alone fan, then this one is probably a little bit upsetting for you. The child star had a career that was off to a very strong start. After watching him kill it in the Home Alone series, he did book roles after that, but none that really put him on the map the way Home Alone did. In 2005, he had drug charges against him, which he pleaded guilty to possession of marijuana and medication without a prescription. The 24-year-old at the time was given a 1-year deferred jail sentence and was ordered to pay his fees. This was just a few weeks after he appeared in court to defend the case that was going on against Michael Jackson at the time, who had sexual assault charges against him. Culkin faced a lot of criticism for defending the man who was being accused of molesting young children. Now in 2019, at 38 years old, he still faces the heat defending the recent documentary that came out about the Michael Jackson allegations. Culkin has no problem admitting that he spent a lot of alone time with Jackson, but nothing inappropriate ever took place. He claims that the two of them were just best friends. The two actually remained close friends over the years, and to a point where Culkin is actually the godfather to Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris Jackson. He has stayed out of Hollywood movies for years and has turned to live comedy acts instead, where he often makes jokes about the Michael Jackson allegations. You can imagine these jokes don't really go over too well with some people. Rumor has it though that you can find him in a movie called Changeland, taking on a smaller role of a character named Ian. Could this be another breakthrough moment for him? Do we even care? Let me know what you guys think. Halfway through the list at number 5 is Nikki Blonsky, also known as Tracy Turnblad from Hairspray, where she starred alongside Zac Efron and John Travolta. The fun musical movie came out back in 2008 and put her on the map as a talented actress. After that, you might have watched her in the short-lived ABC Family series Huge, but that is about it. It seemed like she was going to be the next up-and-coming actor, but her high didn't last very long. And to be honest, there's not really much reason for it. It's not like she has been involved in some awful celebrity scandal. She's just struggled to book some roles. Since then, she booked smaller roles here and there, but it wouldn't be enough to support someone as a full-time income. They do not say starving artist for nothing. In 2011, the actress did an interview with E! And said that she works at a shoe store in New York City and was later hired as a cosmetologist at a hair salon. Apparently, she went on to get her cosmetology license, and she began working part-time as a hairstylist and makeup artist in between auditions. She's kept a fairly low profile and tweeted out recently that she works these jobs to pay her bills, but she will not lose sight of her dreams. She's still hoping to get another breakthrough moment sometime soon. Here we are at number 4 with Dustin Diamond. The actor has made a name for himself playing Samuel Powers, aka Screech, on the classic TV series Saved by the Bell. In later years, he went into reality television starring on Celebrity Fit Club. The show follows 8 overweight celebrities on their journey to weight loss. However, while on the reality show, they didn't shine him in the brightest of lights. We all know that reality TV has the bad guy or the villain, and he was basically that. But after facing a ton of backlash and criticism, he threw the show under the bus and claimed and admitted that the whole thing was scripted. This is like the one thing you're never supposed to say about reality TV. Like, we know that it's kind of scripted, but like we don't actually want to know that it was scripted. If that wasn't enough, 2 years later in 2009, he wrote a book called Behind the Bell, where he talked about everything behind the scenes throughout his journey on the show Saved by the Bell. He faced a lot of heat for some of the things written in the book, like when he was saying some of the co-stars were often called to the office. The audience took that as a sexual theme, but the actor blamed the editor, saying his words were twisted. So it really just depends if you believe him or not. But it doesn't appear that Hollywood does. He hasn't had any credits to his name in the past few years. In spot number 3 is Taylor Lautner. We all know him as the hunky werewolf Jacob in the Twilight series, but once that came to an end, he had to create a career outside of that role. We were so used to seeing him with his shirt off that seeing him take on any other kind of role was a little bit weird. Let's be honest. In 2011, he booked a lead role in the action thriller movie called Abduction, which should have been the next big big thing for his career. However, the movie received mixed critics and didn't do as well as they thought it would at the box office. Since then, he hasn't really booked anything that would land him on our big screen again in a franchise like Twilight. He's still booking smaller roles like the 10 episodes as Dr. Cassidy Casade on the TV series Scream Queens, but that was back in 2016. And he also booked Dale on the TV series Cuckoo. But his last TV show ended in 2018 and there's been nothing to his name yet this year. Not really sure what he's up to these days. A lot of people kind of just forgot about him. And by people, I mean me. Alright guys, at number 2 is Logan Paul. He has been one of the most popular YouTubers for some time now, but his YouTube career took a hit when he made headlines in 2018 for a video that caused a lot of controversy. People were him and a group of friends were traveling in Japan and they went to the famously known suicide forest. He decided to vlog his journey through the forest where they happened to actually come across a dead body on their hike. In the video you can see Logan and his friends react to the dead body, which is actually shown on camera. Not only was showing the dead body disrespectful, but they also started laughing and making uncomfortable jokes about it. He posted the video and titled it, "We found a dead body in the Japanese suicide forest." During the video, Logan says, I quote, "I think this definitely marks a moment in YouTube history because I'm pretty sure this has never happened to anyone on YouTube ever." Fans were outraged and so were other celebrities who all bashed his names, calling him disgusting and saying he is a horrible influence on his young fan base and viewers. He was dropped by Google's preferred ad program that enables companies to sell ads on the top 5% of YouTube's most popular creators. He told The Hollywood Reporter that it cost him over $5 million. Since then, there are a number of brands and companies that refuse to work with him. Luckily, he is successful enough that he has gone on to fund and create his own podcast, Impulsive, which is actually a huge hit. Taking our number 1 spot is Steven Seagal. Back in the early 1990s, he was one of the top box office attractions when it came to Hollywood movies. He was also a martial arts action figure, which is pretty freaking cool. He's mostly known for his early career with movies like Above the Law and Under Siege, killing it at the box office with his 6'5" muscular frame and good looks. He was the leading man in action adventure movies at the time. But over time his career started sinking and it seemed like audiences were just kind of getting bored with his limited acting abilities. Not only did his acting career take a hit, but in more recent years so did his personal life and reputation. Last year in 2018 he was accused of sexual assault and rape by 2 different females. In January a report was made by actress Regina Simons who claimed that when she was 18 she was an extra on his 1994 movie On Deadly Ground when he allegedly raped her. Another former model named Fabiola Datis came forward after saying that he groped her during an audition back in 2002. His attorney made a statement saying that the claims were completely made up, but that didn't stop people from having their own opinions about it. The 2002 case was dropped because apparently the evidence didn't meet the requirements. He still denies everything from the 1994 case and has walked out of interviews when asked about it. He is still trying to remain in the acting world by booking smaller roles in anything that he can pretty much get his hands on, which just is not much. Starting off our list at number 10 is Felicity Huffman, known best for starring on The Desperate Housewives. Over the last few months she has been involved in a scandal that has led to her arrest and Hollywood is going crazy about it, as well as her fans. A few months ago she was caught being involved with a college admissions scam. She was accused of paying $15,000 to William Rick Singer's fake charity to help her oldest daughter Sophia cheat on her SATs. Paperwork shows the actress was making arrangements to pursue the scheme for a second time for her younger daughter but decided to back out. Huffman was arrested at gunpoint at her Los Angeles home Tuesday morning. She was later released on a $250,000 bond. Since then she has been keeping the faith after pleading guilty to her involvement on April 8, 2019, but is prepared to serve time behind bars. Us Weekly recently updated us on the case and said that she is hopeful that she will be able to attend a halfway house instead of prison confinement. Waiting for her trial, she has published a final statement saying, "I am ashamed of the pain I have caused my daughter, my friends, my family, my colleagues, and the educational community. I want to apologize to them, and especially I want to apologize to the students who work hard every day to get into college, and to their parents who make tremendous sacrifices to support their children and do so honestly." Well, at least she has learned her lesson. At number 9 we have CeeLo Green, the singer that came out with that really fun hit Forget You and also appeared as one of the judges on The Voice. His career took his first big hit back in 2012 when he was accused of sexual battery and furnishing a controlled substance. Once he cleared his name from the battery charge, his career got somewhat back to normal. But in 2014 he was accused of giving roofies to some females, and he responded to the stories with some inappropriate tweets. His one tweet said, "People who have really been raped, remember, if someone is passed out, they're not even with you consciously, so with implies consent." Immediately after the tweets were sent out, he was basically blacklisted from Hollywood. CBS cancelled his show The Good Life, and concert venues dropped him left and right. He also had to leave his role as a judge on The Voice, which was probably the most painful for everyone. He still continued his music career, but it was just never the same ever since. Just a few months ago, the singer was once again defending a racist tweet he sent out when he defended his pal Big Boy before his Super Bowl performance. On February 4th, 2019, he posted a statement apologizing and also did a live stream video with TMZ to publicly apologize. He is clearly still trying to piece his reputation back together. Sweeping the number 8 spot is Tila Tequila. She is known for being a television and social media personality that actually won over the hearts of other people during her career, but she's always been known to get attention by putting out controversial statements on her social media. The one that really pushed her over the edge was in 2013 when she decided that Adolf Hitler was a guy that deserved to be praised. She posted a rant that was titled "Why I Sympathize with Hitler Part 1. Things got even worse when she decided to post a picture of her and her friends in front of Auschwitz, and then a picture in 2016 of her and her friends saluting like a Nazi. Her Twitter account was suspended not long after the pictures were posted, and she was removed from the reality show Celebrity Big Brother. Since then, she's been posting trying to convince her audience that Jesus Christ is her husband. She posted saying that Jesus has revealed himself to her after his resurrection and that she shares the same story as Mary Magdalene from the Bible. She said, I quote, "Jesus revealed himself to me after his resurrection. Same like me how I saw Jesus after I died in 2012. I've been his bride since the beginning. I even have the same mark on my stomach where Jesus got stabbed by his spleen. He revealed to me that this mark is the same as his." Basically, fans think she has just totally lost it. If they aren't fighting with her on the internet, then they are just watching her for the pure entertainment. Taking over the number 7 spot is Stephen Collins. He is known for being a famous TV dad on the show Seventh Heaven. He won the hearts of many people for this role on the show, but apparently he was a different person when he was offset. On the show he played a minister, but back in 2014, the NYPD got their hands on a tape of Collins admitting that he engaged in sexual misconduct with young girls in his past. One of his victims, a 10-year-old girl, reported that he would often expose himself in front of her. His wife at the time, Faye Grant, filed for divorce and later admitted, I quote, "In the presence of his therapist, Stephen admitted that he engaged in a long-term pattern of sexually abusing minor children, including sexually molesting 3 young girls over a decade ago. In 2014, the actor admitted to sexually abusing 3 underage girls when he was 25 years old and apologized for his actions. Channels have cancelled plans that they had to rerun the Seventh Heavens TV series, and he had lost his upcoming gig at the time, which was in the comedy movie Ted 2. However, Collins was never arrested for the abuse. He did an interview with ABC News where he not only admitted to all of these incidents, but he even described them. The actor stands firm on saying that he is not a pedophile and said, I quote, "I am absolutely not attracted, physically or sexually attracted to children." I feel like that is just one big contradiction. At number 6 is James Franco. This one is a damn shame because he had a wildly successful career with a solid group of fans to back it up. His career started to crumble back in 2014 when screenshots surfaced of him trying to rent a hotel room for him and a 17-year-old girl. The screenshots on Instagram show her sharing the facts that she is underage and also shows him identifying himself with pictures, confirming that it was really him. Immediately, he was being called a variety of different names online. People were just absolutely disgusted. The press was also on top of him, asking to hear his side of the story, to which he apologized and simply said that he made a mistake. His career continued on after the scandal faded out, but it resurfaced in 2018 after he showed up to the Golden Globe Awards wearing a Time's Up pin. The pin was designed to show support for women who have dealt with harassment or assault, but after wearing it, he was facing a scandal on his own. Twitter blew up with different women making accusations of inappropriate or sexual behavior from the actor. Controversy started the night of the Golden Globes as women just started tweeting accusations in reference to his pin, sharing stories of how he sexually assaulted them and hashtagging cute Time's Up pin. Interviews with the girls and also Franco started flooding the internet, and we haven't seen him on the big screen ever since. Anything on his IMDb page is funded and produced by him. Since then, he's also deleted social media, which is probably for the best. Halfway Halfway through our list at number 5 is Pee Wee Herman, also known as Paul Reubens. The actor was huge for this character during the 80s as he took on 2 feature films and also an Emmy-winning children's TV series. But his image and also his career changed drastically back in 1991. While he was on a trip to visit his parents in Florida, he ended up being arrested for indecent exposure at a movie theater. Turns out someone had spotted him masturbating during the movie and called the police. He was 38 years old at the time and pleaded no contest, but agreed to take part in a new anti-drug campaign to avoid a trial on the misdemeanor charge. After the scandal, Pee-wee toys were pulled from shelves across the nations and Reubens hid from the public eye, pretty much disappearing for the remainder of the 90s. He attempted a comeback, but more charges of sexual nature were brought against him, this time relating to child pornography. Officers seized thousands of items from a collection of vintage gay erotica, and he also faced claims of owning sexual images of children. It took yet another decade for him to come back, which he did in the 2016 Netflix film Pee-wee's Big Holiday. He did receive some positive responses from fans, but also received a lot of negative as they didn't agree with the decision to even bring him back. In the last couple of years, he has booked some voiceover work, but nothing that will bring him back to the spotlight that he used to have. Here we are at number 4 with Bill Cosby. I mean, is anyone actually surprised that he's on this list? He made news for being the actor who had over 50 people accuse him of sexual assault and misconduct. The allegations began back in 2014 when he was accused of sexual assault that took place in the mid-1960s. He has been accused by different women for rape, drug-facilitated sexual assault, sexual battery, child sexual abuse, and sexual misconduct. As more people started coming forward with allegations, the alleged incident spanned from 1965 to 2018 in the US and one in Canada. After years of battling the accusations, Cosby was first found guilty on April 26, 2018 for 3 counts of aggravated assault. Then on September 25, 2018, he was sentenced to 3 to 10 years in a state prison and fined $25,000, plus the cost of prosecution, which was $43,611. Numerous organizations cut ties with the actor and even revoked honors and titles that were given to him throughout his career. Media organizations pulled reruns of The Cosby Show, and TV Land and NBC both ended relationships with him, along with others like Bounce TV, Hulu, and BET. As for life in prison, he's currently serving a sentence at a state prison near Philadelphia and apparently gets treated like any other prisoner. Alright guys, at number 3 is Kevin Spacey, another not really surprised one on this list. The 2-time Oscar winner is now facing felony assault charges. Before the charges, he was killing it on his Netflix series House of Cards. But then his career started to change in October 2017 when a story was published by actor Anthony Rapp accusing Spacey of making a sexual advance towards him when he was 14. After the story was published, more than 30 people came forward with allegations, accusing him of things ranging from harassment to attempted rape. The allegations brought a flood of damage control as multiple Hollywood units have distanced themselves from the actor. It was officially announced that he was fired from his Netflix hit House of Cards. Even his representation at Hollywood's prestigious creative arts agency and his publicists have dropped him from their client lists. It was announced just yesterday on June 26, 2019 that Spacey is going to face off in court with one of the sexual assault accusers. William Little, who is now 18, claimed that the actor groped him in a club back in 2016. Spacey was charged with felony assault and battery, so fireworks are expected in the Massachusetts courtroom on July 8th. In our number 2 spot is Allison Mack. The actress is known best for her role in the CW series Smallville. Recently, she was facing the heat when allegations came out that she was involved with the NXIVM group, a company in New York which is labeled as a pyramid scheme, a sex trafficking operation, and a sex cult. At first, she agreed that she was involved in the program when she was younger, but says she left the group before anything illegal was happening. Reports were made saying that the female followers of the group would have sex with their leader, Keith Raniere, and get branded with his initials. On April 8, 2019, the actress ended up changing her claims and pleaded guilty for her role in the sex slave cult. The story was released sharing that she was sobbing in the Brooklyn courtroom when she faced charges of sex trafficking, extortion, and forced labor. In her statement, she said, "I must take full responsibility for my conduct. I am very sorry for my role in this case. I am very sorry to my family and to the good people I hurt through my misguided adherence to Keith Raniere's teachings." She also admitted to being part of the master slave inner circle and said she kept a female slave who, I quote, "performed services on me." Allison dissected the entire cult for the court and said that it was a slave system designed to make women feel like they would suffer serious harm, like exposing their raunchy sex photos or their darkest secrets. It was basically all for power. Her sentencing hasn't been announced yet, but the 2 counts she pleaded guilty to carries a maximum of up to 20 years in prison. Taking the number 1 spot is Harvey Weinstein. I feel like I don't even have to explain this one. Like, I could just say his name and you guys will just get why he's our number 1 spot. But since this is my job, let me fill you in on how he got blacklisted. If you don't know who he is known for being one of Hollywood's biggest producers. His incredibly successful career began to crumble in October of 2017 when the New York Times reported that dozens of women came out and accused him of rape, sexual assault, and sexual abuse over a period of 30+ years. More than 80 women in the film industry have since accused him of these acts. Of course, he immediately denied the allegations, but shortly after was dismissed from the TWC and expelled from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. Other associations dropped his name and he disappeared from the public eye. It wasn't until May 25th, 2018 that he was arrested in New York and charged with rape and other offenses, but was released on bail. Now his lawyers have said the settlement to resolve the lawsuits is worth $44 million. He's expected to go to trial this month, June 2019, so we are still waiting to hear what the outcome will be.